And we are live. Haven't done one of these in a while. Hopefully you'll bear with me as I am getting my bearings back on doing this live stream thing. I think I'm going to play some Spell Demon Hunter. I've seen some other people play in this deck. I really enjoy Demon Hunter as a class, and I kind of always liked Spell Demon Hunter. So this is the deck kind of as it stands currently. Of course, nothing but spells, as well as the Soul Eater Scythe, and then that lets us play up to 3 minions. So the 3 minions that are in the deck currently are Paladin, Silvermoon Arcanist, and then of course Lady Sitheno. So I do know that some people have tried cutting the Paladin and playing an Abusive Sergeant just to be able to get that buff on the Sitheno, which is pretty much a playstyle that we've seen previously with this deck. Tends to be pretty good. The one question that I have, though, is I kind of wonder how often you're actually winning the game with the Lady Sitheno, because we have no way to really be able to discount the spells within the deck, unless with the Paladin we're able to hit the 2-mana Naga that can discount cards on the left and right side of your hand. So I don't really know if Paladin is better, or Abusive Sergeant, or even how much the deck is actually winning with Lady Sitheno here, so that'll be interesting to find out. Hey, Howie. Good to see you. Here we go. Curious to see how this plays. I think it should play pretty much like it did the last time it was a deck. Spell Demon Hunter was kind of overshadowed, though, as best I remember, by the Quest version. The Quest version was just so much more powerful because of the mana cheat. But it was a fun deck. It was a good deck at the time. This runs a lower curve, though. You can see that this particular version is not running the... what's that 5-mana spell that summons the 3/3s with Lifesteal? Yeah, it doesn't run Deal with a Devil, and it's not running anything above 4 cost. The other thing here is 5 4-cost cards kind of makes the deck feel maybe even a little bit top-heavy for a deck that really wants cheap stuff, so should be pretty interesting, though. I'm going to go ahead and hop into a game. Howie, I hope you're doing well. Haven't talked to you in a while. It's actually been quite a while, I think, since I did a live stream. I'm kind of tired recently. Mostly because of work. Tough days at work. Kind of drain my energy, and then I get home. And Hearthstone, when the expansion came out, I was pretty excited by all the new possibilities, and then in a lot of ways, it felt like things just didn't change with the cards that were introduced. And so, I don't know, I found Hearthstone to be maybe a little bit more boring than I would have liked.
The unholy fester. I alone will shield
Against Death Knight, so this is probably equal chance to be Blood or Frost. I almost wonder if you're supposed to keep the Warband here. Other cards that we would want would be the Glaive Tar. We would want Mark of Scorn. Maybe the Warband's just too slow. We'll see what else we can find. So we did hit Mark of Scorn. I'm not really a big fan of playing Illidari Studies on turn 1, just because we discover an Outcast card, but we can't play it in a lot of cases. And so when our next draw comes out, it's no longer in the Outcast position. So I'm going to hold this, I guess, for a couple of turns, and then we'll see what happens. Turn 2 likely is just going to be Mark of Scorn, especially with that minion on the board. Other option would be Chaos Strike, and still swing into the minion, but I think the Mark of Scorn is going to be fine here. Not really the 4-cost weapon I was hoping for. So I can play Illidari Studies, and then I'll be able to I-beam the 3/2. I feel like it's pretty important to remove this arms dealer. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box first, and I'm going to take the security. That's going to be really good. And then I play the security first, because you can see I-beam is technically discounted, but because of the text on the card, it's always 1. So if I play the I-beam, the security is going to be 2 mana, and I would only have 1 mana left. So I'm going to play the security first, And then I'm going to I-beam on the 3-2 over here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and remove this minion from the board, I think. There is a little bit of an argument to maybe not attack and to try to push a little bit of damage with those minions. We do have the healing in this deck with Unleash Fel and the Silvermoon Arcanist. But I'm just going to make the play like this. And next turn, likely just go ahead and equip the weapon and swing face. Our opponent had a little bit of a slower turn. It's going to be a good opportunity for us to just equip the weapon. And then next turn, we'll be able to draw some cards. Potentially Illidari Studies coming down. We're going to go ahead and punch here. The good news is, I'm assuming this is Frost DK. Well, I guess it has to be now that they played this card. So as they put minions on the board, if we can get like the Feldori Warband and the Sinful Brand, we actually punish our opponent for just having minions on the board. Just going to go ahead and draw some cards here, and we'll see what we get. So there's a Warband. I think I'm supposed to ignore this. The 4 health is a little bit awkward when you think about like the Silvermoon Arcanist Unleash Fel turn, though. I'm just going to draw a card, and I'm going to push maximum damage face here. Set our opponent to 18. Both Predations in hand if we do happen to hit Lady Sitheno, but this is a matchup where, again, I don't think we're going to be winning with the Lady Sitheno damage. Although there's going to be some value to playing Lady Sitheno just to get these mana cost 0, and then I can shoot our opponent in the face, even if the Sitheno doesn't get to attack face.
Pick me! Pick me!
So ideally off the top, I think I would like a Sinful Brand, just to be able to push maximum face damage. I'm probably going to have to look at Warband just to try to shut down some of the damage that our opponent is able to do here. So I can go I-beam here, Warband face, trade 4 into the School Teacher, and then I'll be able to Feast of Souls to be able to draw a lot of cards. And then it's okay to allow our opponent to have, I think, the 4-4 and the 1-1 still on the board here. And then we'll just go ahead and draw 4 cards and pass back to our opponent. Unfortunately, Sinful Brand was just a little bit late there. But we pick up another weapon, as well as a Bound Soul. So I think things are going pretty well this game. Our opponent doesn't have a lot of corpses, so Marrow Manipulator's not all that great. I guess they want to play Frigidera. Hey Andrew, about time, glad to see you back. Ooh, the Frigidera's buffed too. I think we're still okay here, they're not killing us next turn. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. They might be killing us next turn. How much damage is this? 10, 14, 15, 17, 18. I don't think we're ever killing our opponent. So we just take the heal, and we'll be able to clear some of the stuff on the board. Unfortunate, but I kind of feel like that's where we're at. Take the spell damage, that gets removed. Then we'll still have mana to be able to play like Mark of Scorn, which will be a 50-50 for one of these guys, and draw a card. We have 4 face. Yeah, we need to be able to set up lethal and not die. But I'm afraid we're just dead if we don't just go ahead and take the heal here. Our opponent goes to 11, but we're actually not able to set up lethal like that either. Is there anything else we can do? Alright, the rope is coming down, so I think I'm just going to have to go ahead and make this play. Don't really have enough time to continue thinking about it, unfortunately. And then we'll pass it back to our opponent. Learned a lot from watching your videos, very informative and entertaining. Andrew, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Thank you very much. So again, I feel like I'm going to be in a position where I'm probably going to have to address the board, otherwise just die the following turn, because they're going to punch us in the face for probably 12. We go to 18. Could even be 13 with the hero power here, depending on what they do. So, I mean, I have lethal over 2 turns if I just go Glaive Tar, swing face, and then the second attack plus 1 predation. So maybe I can use 1 predation to clear. Can also open the Illidari Studies and potentially find a like an eye beam. And unfortunately, I guess that's in the ETC. They froze our face here, which means we can't attack. That's going to slow us down quite a bit. Security and Sinful Brand is 6. Plus a predation is 9. It feels like we're so close here. I guess I'm going to start with the... I almost have to start with the security here. I'm going to start with the security because I want to make sure that I get the outcast. And with the second security... Yeah, I guess, like, second security and Sinful Brand is going to be enough to make it so that we don't die. We don't actually kill our opponent with our face being frozen. But it's just going to make it so that we don't die. Which is going to be good enough. Hit like that. And then I can just go ahead and draw off the Spectral Sight too. Could have drawn earlier to see if it changed our play here. Certainly if I would have hit like the Feldori Warband, this would have been lethal. Actually, we're dead to the second weapon. Oh, we're dead to the Howling Blast. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. ETC, Icy Touch. And then our opponent also discovered a Howling Blast. I feel like those are the toughest games to lose. That was 2 cards that caused us to lose the game that aren't even good enough for our opponent to put in their deck. One randomly discovered and one that they put into an ETC because it's not good enough to be a main deck card. That happens so often with Death Knights as well because their Discover pool is so good. It'll be interesting to see how they address the Death Knight class with the patch that's going to be coming up. Which is actually tomorrow, I think. Should be pretty interesting. But I gotta say, I'm looking, and a lot of people are theory crafting. What are the buffs going to look like? What are the nerfs going to look like? And I see it's something like 17 or 18 cards that are being buffed. And I really think that nothing's going to happen. Because we saw this just within the last month or two. They buffed like 18 cards. 7 of those cards were warrior cards. And it didn't change anything. None of the warrior cards saw play that I can remember. And warrior was still like the worst class in the game. They're just very conservative when they go to buff cards. And really the strength of the card is in the text box, more so than the mana cost or even the stats on the minions in a lot of cases. And they don't really adjust text boxes when they make those buffs, so I'm not really hopeful that a whole lot is going to change with the patch. And so this is actually going to be Outcast Demon Hunter that we're playing against here. So I'm just going to swing into this 2-1 and kill it. Turn 2, turn 3. We may even coin the Glaive Tar. I don't think you have to draw a lot of cards off of this necessarily, but the 8 damage is really good. This will get removed by the Mark of Scorn. We've already hit a Bound Soul. We have the coin. We have a Predation. But because the Sitheno is only 2 attack, we're a really long way off from being able to kill our opponent. I almost just want to go ahead and play the security here, but I think the better play is actually just going to be to coin out the weapon and swing face. Just a good opportunity while our opponent doesn't have minions on the board to be able to get this weapon down, go ahead and swing, and then we can play some outcast cards to be able to draw additional stuff from our deck. Hey Gonzalo, hey, how's it going? It's going pretty well. Hope you're doing well yourself. Bit unfortunate that we have these guys in our hand. I don't really want these in hand, and I also don't want them on our opponent's side of the board. If they run Rowdy Fan and they have it in hand, we're going to take a ton of damage off of this thing as well. I'm going to start with the Illidari Studies. We just go for extra attack. This is going to be 2 mana. We could push 8 this turn. Opponent goes to 18. Could just draw an additional card. I want to be careful about how many cards I'm going to draw, because playing an outcast card is also going to cause the weapon to draw an additional card as well. So I'm just going to make the play like this. And I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Bound Soul instead of Hero Power. And I want to take the Silvermoon Arcanist, because I feel like at some point I'm probably going to have to draw into the... I'm going to burn a card. I feel like I'm going to have to draw into the Unleash Fel to be able to get some healing, potentially. Been stuck at Diamond 3, keep running into Kingsbane Rogue or Time Warp Mage, and they play a billion ice blocks, so annoying, both classes need nerfs. Yeah, and it's a little bit unfortunate too. I don't think they're addressing those classes at all in Wild. It's just the Druid card, right? That's being changed. Losing the Warband is not good. I might have to make a Sathino defensive play here, but I actually can't. So I can swing into this, and then Mark of Scorn to remove that. I think I've already misplayed this game. Yeah, this is not looking good. Guess I just go ahead and play the security and then pass turn. I'm high, watch High Legend spell Demon Hunter. Yeah, there you go. So our opponent's getting a lot of stuff here. Would really like to see an Unleash Fel. If we hit the Unleash Fel, we're going to heal back to full. We're going to remove most of our opponent's board. Otherwise, we're potentially looking at maybe dying with something like a Halvaria play. Yeah, I really need to hit an Unleash Fel here. That's a little bit unfortunate. I might be able to shuffle... I'm gonna have to shuffle something into the deck. I'm gonna go for the audio bot just in case we have to kill this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and draw 2 cards here.
I will find a way.
And so now I think we're at a point where we just die because both Unleash Fels are in the bottom 15 of our deck. We're not going to have enough mana to be able to play the Arcanist and Unleash Fel. Illidari Studies. I don't think there's anything that saves us here. That's a concede.
I must withdraw.
And that's tough too. Where's my cards? My opponent got to draw cards. My opponent hits their one of Pozic on turn 4. I have 2 Unleash Fels. I draw half my deck and can't find one. We're off to a slow start. Takes a little while to get some traction. But we'll get there. From everything I've seen, this deck is good. I just have to learn how to play it, and I got to clean up my own play too. I don't think I'm fully thinking things through, which is kind of a bad spot to be in a strategy game like Hearthstone. Well, we got a Druid this time.
The forest fights back.
Again, I think you keep the Glaive Tar, and Hearthstone trolls me so bad, man. I wanted this card last game. I had to have this card so that we would have a chance to be able to win, and I can't find it. Both copies in the bottom 15 or bottom 14, and here it is in my opening hand. And Hearthstone does this to me all the time. The card that I have to draw, I don't hit, but then it's in my mulligan in the next game. Who's feeling me on that one? It's an okay hand. I'd rather not have the Soul Eater Scythe, but I can like coin this on 3, and then on 4 I'll have Security and Eye-Beam to be able to get this to draw more cards. It's just a pretty straightforward. I think I'm going to kill the 1/1 here. Could have left it up, potentially for like an Unleash Fell play later for the healing. And so now we see this is actually not going to be the Tony Druid. It's not the Hero Power Druid, although they may still run the Hero Power package, but this is like the minion-based deck that runs the Drum Circles. So they want to build a big board and then buff it with Drum Circle. I don't think that necessarily changes our game plan, and by them having those minions on the board, it's going to be good for us if we can hit... I'm going to go ahead and coin out the weapon here and swing face. It's going to be good for us if we can hit a Sinful Brand along with some rush minions. Hey Andy, hi Uncorrupt, haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you as well. I haven't been around. You haven't seen me because I haven't been around. Unfortunate, but I'm here now, which is all that matters. I'm here, you're here. Things are looking up. I think... Yeah, I just want to go ahead and start getting additional cards drawn here. So I'm going to go ahead and play the security. And then I can even just Eye-Beam this guy, I think. We'll play the Eye-Beam here. And then... I could even hold... I'm going to take the Falarin here. And I can even hold the attack and just pass turn. So I'll be able to play the Falarin, play a couple of additional Outcast cards so that I can draw even more. Just have to be careful about overdrawing. So this deck also plays like Green Thumb Gardeners, so it's a 5/5, and it gives them mana back, and they can potentially have a really big turn next turn. And we'll have to see what they can do. So I think I just want to go wide here. And again, this is just going to allow me to be able to draw cards. So I'm going to play the Falarin. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and play the Wayward Sage. Again, just because I at least get one discount off of it, because it's not going to be an outcast position after I draw. Interesting thing is, let's see, I draw 4 now. So I think I don't even want to play this. I want to go ahead and swing. But I can use the Chaos Strike here. I'm still going to end up burning a card, but it should be fine. There's a Sinful Brand, which is going to be good for us. 2 Sinful Brands, which is going to be good for us. And I just want to go ahead and get the additional 1/1 on the board, and then we're going to push the damage face here as well. And then we're going to pass turn, so... With double Sinful Brand, our opponent's only at 17. We have a lot of minions on the board, and then might even be able to get the security to the outcast position. In fact, we definitely can. We'll have 6 mana, 2, 4. Actually, we can't. We'll figure it out. It's going to be lethal next turn. About to draw their whole deck and swap decks. Yeah, Andrew, I think this is actually a different deck. This isn't that Tony Druid deck. It's a different Druid deck that's been cropping up recently, so it's more minion-based. They run the Green Thumb Gardeners. It's a 5/5 that restores mana crystals equal to the highest cost spell in your hand. And then they run the 7 mana Drum Circle. Yeah, here's the Gardener. So they're going to have a Drum Circle here, probably for 6 mana that was discounted by the Summer Flower Child. So it's going to buff all their minions with, I think it's 2/4 and Taunt. But we're still going to be able to kill them because of Sinful Brands. I think. Well, they're also going to get 5/5s off of this. Yeah, look at this. They hit here, they're going to get a bunch of 5/5s, and then they're going to give them all taunts with the drum circle. So a little bit of a different deck. But we should just be able to kill our opponent now. So I'm going to go ahead and Sinful Brand on one of the big boys. I'm going to use a second Sinful Brand over here. And then we're going to hit, we're going to hit, we're going to hit. And then security for 2 additional rush minions here. And that's actually going to kill our opponent. So, I mean, this board was absolutely insane. But you can see that this deck just punishes people for playing minions because of the Sinful Brands. I haven't played in a while. What decks are strong in this meta? Gonzalo, I think this deck is strong. The Spell Demon Hunter, I think Miracle Rogue is still good. The Tony Druid, the other version of Druid, is still good. I feel like I'm missing something very obvious. I can't think of what it is. There's several decks that are good, but there's also a balance patch tomorrow. Well, tomorrow my time. But it's on Thursday, there's a balance patch. There's going to be, I think it's like 17 or 18 cards being buffed. Maybe even more than that. And then a couple of cards are being nerfed. Apparently the entire Death Knight class is going to eat some kind of a nerf. And I think people are thinking that it's going to be revolve around the Discover pools in some way. So things are getting ready to shake up again. Good luck on the games. Hope to see more uploads soon. Much love. Andrew, thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. We got another one of these Death Knight donkeys.
All will serve me in death.
The
I think you always keep the weapon here. Now here's the real question though. So I want to keep a weapon and I'm only keeping one weapon. The question is, do you keep this one or do you keep this one? And you might be thinking to yourself, what's this guy talking about? What difference does it make? Well, the difference is outcast cards. I think I keep this one because until I play this on turn 4, it's going to block the left side of my hand from being able to play outcast cards. Whereas if I keep this one, it still gets played on turn 4. Potentially, we could maybe have 2 outcast cards here. I think you actually keep the one on the far right. That's going to change the meta, then I'll wait a few days. Yeah, it's definitely going to change the meta. If nothing else, you might want to sign in and see if you have some cards that you can dust for the full refund. There's not very many nerfs, though. I think there's only like 3 cards being nerfed. And then again, that kind of global Death Knight nerf. Oof, man. That's going to get covered up. Keep the middle one. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which one you are supposed to keep there. Hey, Alan, nice to see you. 25 buffs, so I was a little bit off. 25 is a lot of buffs, but again, I kind of mentioned this earlier. I am not sure. This is going to be Frost Death Knight, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what the buffs are going to do. So many times... Let me think about this for a second. I-Beam is not going to be outcast, and 3 mana is too much, because we're going to draw next turn. Immolation Aura is not great, but it's a little bit of redundancy in case we hit like the Silvermoon Arcanist and not an Unleash Fel. And I feel like this is too slow because they're going to be dropping the Frostworm's Fury, so I think it's actually the Immolation Aura here. If I could draw 1 Bound Soul out of the 3, it'll give me a clear with this for as little as 5 mana, in case I don't hit the Unleash Fel, which is exactly what happened the last time. Hey Emmanuel, good afternoon, technically evening. Thank you so much. Good afternoon / evening / morning to you. Always nice to see you. I think I actually just clear this. I don't want to take this damage. And then on turn 4, we're going to equip the weapon, and then we'll just go from there. Really sad that this is on the far left. I guess maybe I can just go ahead and play Security and Feast of Souls on turn 5. Super weak. Weakest turn 3 ever. This is perfect. Finally, things are going my way. But yeah, we've seen Blizzard make a lot of buffs before, and they're always just too conservative with the buffs, so I personally don't have a lot of faith that a whole lot's going to change as a result of the buffs. We'll see what happens. I could totally be wrong, but yeah, I'm just not necessarily expecting the buffs to do a whole lot. I guess I just go ahead and play the security. I'm going to do this first. So I'm going to play this security, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and play this security as well. How many cards do we draw? So this draws us 3 cards. I'm just going to go ahead and push this damage. We're going to draw 3, and then next turn, some of this should still be on the board. And then I can draw additional cards with the Feast of Souls. I'm going to want to do something. If I'm going to play Feast of Souls, it's going to be this next turn, because on turn 6, it could be the Frigidera that comes down and just clears the board here. So I'm likely going to go ahead and make some trades just to be able to get cards off of this, and it's going to free up the Outcast on the left side here. Spectral Sight. Do we ever just kill our opponent here? I would still have 2 mana. That's 3 damage. 8. I think they're actually just dead, so I'm not going to count anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and take the damage. If they're not dead, then we'll be killing them the next turn. We're going to put back the Feast of Souls. That's why you never count. I think they were dead, I'm pretty sure, because I would have... I think I would have had the damage, but if not, you just do so much damage to your opponent that you set up lethal next turn, and they still have to address the Lady Sitheno. I think between the buffs and DK being nerfed, we will see a pretty different meta. And yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, this meta for me hasn't been... Oh gosh, I'm all blurry. Let me see if I can correct this particular issue. It's like magic. Andy, I hope you're right. I just personally... We don't know what the buffs are. So I hope you're right. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Because there was... You know, within the last couple of months, they had that big buff patch. And I just remember Warrior had like 7 cards that were buffed. And then Warrior was still the worst class in the game. And now again, we see Warrior having a large number of cards that are going to be buffed. But it feels like Warrior... It feels like Control Warrior is just never going to be able to compete, because it's not going to be as good as Priest or Death Knight in terms of a control deck. It's going to lose those control matchups, and at that point, why do you even play it? And that's if it could even beat the aggro decks. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Totem Shaman is the most fun I've had post-expansion. Totem Shaman is fun, but it's also frustrating at times. I think I'm going to keep the Chaos Strike. I don't know if you're supposed to keep this or not, but I'm going to keep it just because it's going to allow us to be able to draw an additional card. This is kind of a, again, it's kind of a bad card to have on the left side of your hands. I have to put something back in my deck. But then at least I'll be able to draw an additional card off of the Spectral Sight. Outcast is such an interesting mechanic. Because it puts you in spots like this, where it's got to be correct that I'm going to want to play this so that I can draw cards off of the Spectral Sight. But it just feels bad to do it, so it's like a little bit counterintuitive, I guess. Andy, I've also wondered... I don't think I've seen anybody test it or even try it, but I feel like you should play Glug in the, I feel like you should play Glug in Totem Shaman, or at least it should be tried. Play that big colossal minion. I don't know, maybe 7 mana is too slow and you never want to draw it anyway. You just want to go wide with your totems early and discount the thing from below as well as the Giga Totem or Gigan Totem. Frost Death Knight with a really slow start. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Dispose Evidence so that I can free up the Spectral Sight here. I would like to be able to draw a weapon for next turn. And I guess I'm going to shuffle... I guess I shuffle the Chaos Strike. I want to keep the Unleash Fel because I might need the heal off of that. Then I'm going to go ahead and draw cards. We hit a Warband. Actually, I probably should have shuffled an Unleash Fel. I didn't realize I had 2 copies in hand, so that's just me not paying attention. And I'm just going to Hero Power and push face. I don't like playing the Illidari Studies, again, just because it creates an Outcast card that we may not be able to play, and then it's going to get covered up by our top deck next turn.
Hey, you! Store these for me, won't you?
Hate to see that. Boy, Rowdy Fan on this is just so much damage. But I can turn this into 12. If I wait one more turn, I've got Coin, Sinful Brand, and Warband for 12. So I think I just want to push as much damage face as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and play an Illidari Studies. And I'm just going to play this guy and Hero Power. And I guess I can hold on to the Dispose Evidence. Or do I want to push the damage in case he freezes my face? I'm going to go ahead and play the Dispose Evidence. And it's just going to be the Taste of Chaos here. That's going to let me push 7. And then we'll pass it back to our opponent. So next turn, I'm going to be able to Sinful Brand and Warband to be able to remove something off the board. Likely it's going to be the 4/4. That way I don't put additional stuff on the board. That'll let me push 12.
Pick me!
And then that'll set up lethal the following turn with Unleash Fel, and Hero Power. Absolute worst case scenario. And I don't think we're going to be dying here. They'll have 6 on the board. We would still be at 13. And we've got the Bound Soul to go along with the Unleash Fels with the Arcanist. So... just going to remove the 4/4 here. We're going to push our 8. So hopefully there isn't any type of Discover that's going to let our opponent discover healing. We're going to be able to have 6 damage from hand that's also going to heal us. So they need 13 damage from hand on only 6 mana. I really don't think it's going to happen. Should be a win. Honestly think they could buff Warrior Hero Power to 1 mana and it would be fine. That's interesting. I haven't heard that suggestion, but you might actually be right. Mech Paladin is ridiculous. Yeah, I saw some people playing Mech Paladin now, and I haven't actually played it myself, but it does look pretty strong, especially with the new weapon, the Disco Maul. You can potentially just, like, you know, a big Divine Shield mech, make it even bigger. Hopefully there's more room for decks like that in the meta. So you can see that we actually just win here. We'll make it as painless as possible for our opponent. So this is how you want to see this matchup go. Our opponent just really never had enough pressure on us, which was great. So again, we got off to a slow start to start the stream. I think we dropped the first couple of games, but we learn quickly around here. We try to learn quickly anyway. This deck is supposed to be really good. And I always like tell people, you know, don't craft. You wait, see what's going to be good, especially with balance changes around the corner. But it's possible that I think anybody that's played a lot of Demon Hunter in the past probably already has most of these cards. If you don't have the Phaleran, I think you just don't even craft it. It's not like super great or core to the deck. You could just stick the Abusive Sergeant in there to make that Lady Sitheno a little bit bigger. But again, I feel like most of the games that you win, you're not going to be finding lethal with the Lady Sitheno anyway. So I kind of wondered, the Soul Eater side, the weapon is good. You want to play a weapon on 4. You'd rather have the Glaive Tar so that you can draw. But I feel like you could almost cut the Soul Eater Scythe. Anything that you added into the deck, you know, couldn't be minions. It would have to be spells. Otherwise, like the Feldore Warband and Mark of Scorn, you know, would be affected by that. But I kind of wonder if the deck is actually better without the Soul Eater Scythe. Maybe it's crazy talk, though, because without the Scythe, you can't play minions, and then you can't play the Silver Moon Arcanist, but might be something interesting to check out. What are the bad matchups for this deck? So, Andy, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I haven't played the deck a whole lot. Just since I started the stream is really the only experience I have with this deck in this meta. And I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of stats available yet, too. This deck has kind of come around within the last couple of days. I don't know if you guys watch like the tournament that was on the weekend, but nobody was playing this deck in that in the Hearthstone tournament. I think you always keep this, by the way. But everybody was playing like Outcast DH in that tournament. Almost everybody or everybody brought a Demon Hunter deck. It just wasn't this particular deck, so it's pretty new. It's kind of like cutting edge, I guess, so to speak. And again, my Outcast is just blocked by stuff I don't really want to play. Outcast on the left side. Oof. Hero power 2 turns in a row. See, it's just going to be time to figure out what the good matchups are, but I think a lot of people are in agreement that this deck is strong. So we know we're playing against Blood. Unfortunately, this thing just eats a lot of damage here. So I'm thinking... I think I actually I-beam this guy. Use this I-beam here. Next turn I can equip the weapon and pass. Or do I want to just get the Predation out of my hand to free up the...
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I actually like that better. Just going to get the Predation out of my hand here. So I'm going to equip this on 4, pass turn. And then on turn 5, I'll be able to I-beam this guy. I kind of hate having to use the Predation like that. I think I need to because I want to be able to play these for 1 so that I can draw additional cards. But this feels like a matchup where maybe you need the Sitheno kill. And I hate drawing this too, man. It's such awkwardness. Have you played any Hunter post-expansion? I played like an aggro Hunter in the very early days of the expansion, like the very first day. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure how strong the deck is, but Hunter's getting some buffs too, I think. At least 1 card is being buffed. I want to say it's the Legendary. Alright, so I I-beam here. That lets me swing face. I can I-beam the 4/4 as well. So I'm definitely doing that. And I'm going to I-beam the 4/4. I think I just want to go ahead and bound Soul, but the problem is I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards. I think I'd just go ahead and play the security for the 2 1/1s. I'm not going to be able to get it outcast. Yeah, I guess I can outcast it from the left side. So I'm going to hold this, maybe for next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and bound Soul. And I think I just want to take the Falarin. And then I'm going to hero power and punch face. So next turn I can play this for additional outcast cards. Basically, I just want to draw my deck. Opponent has second Dirty Rat. So that eats a lot of damage too. That is really unfortunate. Taste of Chaos. I'm tempted to play this and just not discover so that I can get the outcast on security. Is unfortunate. Because if I go, I can Sinful Brand. I can get 3 1/1s. But I still have to swing into this anyway to be able to remove it. It just feels awful. Right, I'm going to do it like this. I do think I'm going to need the value off of that. So this is going to draw me 4 cards. We don't have to worry about any more dirty rats, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and Taste of Chaos here.
Not enough time. Vengeance!
And I did that totally wrong, by the way. I can go ahead and just grab the Sethino. And I'm going to pass turn. I probably should have tried to work it out to get the finale off of the Taste of Chaos. So I do think that was a misplay. Have that signature legendary hype that it's getting buffed. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. I really didn't like the March of the Lich King signature legendaries. They just looked like black and white versions to me, and I thought it could have been better, which I guess a lot of people felt like that, which is why they changed them. I need to draw Predations to go along with the Sethino.
Our gift of the arcane enlightens us.
I wonder if they're going to swing with this. I mean, the 4/4 is nothing to sneeze at. I have to deal with it because I don't want him healing off of it. It's actually a 5/5, which is unfortunate. And that's not really what I wanted as far as a draw either. So I'm going to have to draw again.
Catch me.
Unleash Fel. Let's see, Sethino. I mean, Sethino clears the board, I guess.
I know there's a way.
I kind of think I have to do it. I really don't want him healing off of this. I do think I've misplayed this matchup, though. Maybe I just... Do I ever die? Surely I don't die. If I just do this, does it matter if they heal for 5? Oh, this breaks even. And then pass. I don't think I die here. I do have a little bit of healing next turn. 10, 12, 13, 14. They're at 34. It's not looking good. Hoping Arcane Hunter will be good. Maybe something with Nagas will work. Yeah, Arcane Hunter was always just a little weak, and I'm not sure that one buff to just the legendary helps the deck all that much. But I also don't know how much people have tested it after the rotation, because so much changed. So it'll definitely be worth trying, but if the only buff is to the legendary, any game that you don't draw the legendary, Death Strike the 1/1.
You here for the tour?
I'm gonna have to Unleash Fel here. Let's see. With the Warband lets me push an additional 12. But I have to heal as well. Like, I have to play this. I just have to, otherwise I could die to, like, the Gnome Muncher. So I guess I'm just going to spend mana and play cards here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And then I can go boom, boom, boom. Unleash Fel is going to clear the board here. And then I'm just going to Hero Power and swing. So if our opponent has a weak turn, maybe we can get there somehow with like Sethino plus some other stuff, but I'm still just kind of not seeing it. This turn is probably good enough. They heal for 5 and get a 5/5 on the board. So the question is, am I committing the Sethino? And I think I kind of have to. Just because, again, we're dead to Gnome Muncher if we're not... or we're just dead to Gnome Muncher hero power no matter what. So I guess I kind of have to do it like this.
A watery grave awaits. Drowned.
The I-beam is going to be good for us, though. Do that. And... I feel like I need to save the warband, to be honest.
For Suramar.
But we still don't have lethal. So I feel like if they play the Gnome Muncher, it's just a concede and we get out of the game. We've drawn so many cards. Oh, they heal again. Spectral Sight off the top. Right, well, we'll take the card draw.
For Suramar.
So we'll be able to draw with these at least. But our opponent has to play a minion and it needs to not be... Uh-oh. I wasn't even thinking about the Astalor. I just died. Unfortunate.
Must withdraw.
I don't even think this is necessarily a bad matchup. I might have had a questionable turn early in the game. Actually, I'm going to sneak away for just a brief moment and run to the restroom. Thank you so much for watching. I will be right back. And we're going to continue on with some more games as soon as I get back. Thank you, thank you. See you in just a minute. We're back. I took the liberty of making a fresh cup of coffee while I was up too. I hope you don't mind. You're gonna play Hearthstone, you gotta have good drinks. Coffee and water for me. I was telling somebody I work with just within the last couple of days, there's only 3 main things that I drink, and I drink a lot of all 3. It's coffee, water, and the other one is actually milk. I always like milk. I'll still have milk like with lunch and dinner sometimes too. I just really like milk.
In death.
The scourge are no more.
Gonna keep the Chaos Strike here. Everything else is going back. I'm assuming this is gonna be Frost? Although we did just see the Blood Death Knight. Kinda hope it is Blood Death Knight. I'd like to take another shot at that matchup. I don't think it's a bad matchup for this deck. I either played poorly or I just didn't get the resources I needed. But I kinda think I played poorly that last game. We see the arms dealer come out. I'm trying to decide, do I want to coin out the Chaos Strike? And I guess the answer to that is going to be no. I'm just going to swing face here. Chaos Strike next turn to remove this. I'm hoping the hero power. I really don't want to see a 2-drop or like 2 1-drops get buffed by this thing. And this should be fine. That's like a relatively weak turn 2 play. Other option would just be like security and then coin out the Feast of Souls to draw 2 and still have a 1/1 on the board. Or I could just Chaos Strike and swing into this, which also draws a card. Ideally next turn I think I'd like to coin the weapon, even though it's not the Glaive Tar. I'm going to hold on to the security, although this is my only chance to be able to play it Outcast, I think, in a lot of situations. Maybe I Outcast it later on, but it's kind of blocked. Alright, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to take the draw 2 off of the Feast of Souls here.
Honor their sacrifice.
That's me as well. I drink those 3, but I have one more. It's beer Blue Moon. Blue Moon. Do you put, what is it that goes in Blue Moon? It's either oranges or grapefruit, isn't it? It's supposed to be some kind of citrus. Ooh. An additional security. I can go like security and just bound soul. I think I like it. I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and grab the... Maybe it's actually the Phaleran. Oh no, I want the Silver Moon Arcanist. Because I don't know, and I'm going to leave that 2/4 up and just keep my minions on the board. Because the problem is I don't know where my next bound soul is, and I do have Unleash Fells, and I'm probably going to need the healing at some point. I got a little bit punished here. Not gonna lie, I kind of got a lot punished. So I can't even play the weapon at this point. This thing has to go. So I'm gonna Mark of Scorn. And then I'll just go ahead and Chaos Strike here. And make sure I remove that. And then the rest of the damage is just going face. So... if I have to, I could even play 1 Unleash Fell on turn 5 to get just a little bit of healing, and then I've got the big heal on turn 6 with Arcanist and Unleash Fell. Ideally, I would like to wait until turn 6 to be able to play both of these. It'll be like a guaranteed board clear. It's going to be just a ton of healing. Question is, do I die next turn? And I think the answer to that is no. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. They have no corpses, so I think it's fine. We're just going to clear the board next turn, do a lot of damage, and get a big heal. So I'm going to equip the weapon, and I'm actually going to pass. I don't want to swing into one of these guys, because I'm going to get healing. I'm going to heal back to full, basically, and clear my opponent's board no matter what they do. So that's going to be good. It's orange. I sometimes put it in if I have it. I also do a splash of orange juice if I don't have a peel. Sounds weird, but I enjoy it. I think it's a... I've heard of it before. Of people putting citrus in Blue Moon. Alright, so I'm doing exactly what I said. I'm going to be healing to full and clearing my opponent's board. And I'm going to be punching face for a lot of damage here. Question is, do I just go ahead and hit for 11? I guess I don't. I mean, there's always the possibility that my face gets frozen. But I feel like we can take that chance. I'm back up to full. The opponent's at 11. I've got a warband. They have to address this minion. Sinful Brand off the top is going to be lethal. I'm going to be able to draw one card when this breaks. I'm pretty sure we've just won here. I feel like this was the play. Hold on to these guys. Because I would have had to shuffle probably the side and the Chaos Strike. At least with the Chaos Strike even frozen, it'll give me the opportunity to be able to draw.
Restore these for me, won't you?
Yeah, it looks like our opponent's actually just dead here. There was the Sinful Brand one turn late. But it doesn't matter.
All life must end.
So definitely it feels like we have a good matchup against Frost Death Knight. We played it a few times now. And, you know, we don't have enough stats to really say whether or not it's a good matchup, but a lot of times you can kind of get the feel of my deck does powerful things in the matchup, or my deck doesn't do powerful things in the matchup, and it feels like we do powerful things. If we can get to turn 6 and not be dead, in a lot of cases you're going to be able to get the big heal from the Arcanist and Unleash Fel, and then you just have so much damage in the deck as well. Punish your opponent for playing minions.
Versus Valera.
Shall we dance? The Scourge are no match for me.
Let's see, I'm going to keep the weapon. I'm not keeping Spectral Sight. If Spectral Sight was like right here, I think I would keep it. I don't want the Unleash Fel. The question is, do I want the Illidari Studies? And I don't think I do. Yeah, I just want the weapon. I think I still want like a Mark of Scorn. Because a lot of times in the early game, they'll play... what is it? The 3-2? The Ghoulish Alchemist or whatever it's called? So I'd like to be able to remove that and not get hit in the face with it for a turn or two. Even just the 3 damage can really add up. I'm assuming this is going to be Miracle Rogue, and they're going to be putting big minions on the board with the location. And I think at least some versions of Miracle Rogue have actually cut Draka, so all they have is the big minion from the location, which is punishable by this deck with Warband and the Sinful Brand. Just going to draw a card here. We'll push the 2. Next turn, we can coin out the Glaive Tar. I think it's also important to keep in mind, too, with this deck, you know, you don't want to tunnel vision like Warband and Sinful Brand. If our opponent plays a minion and we feel like it's threatening, it's perfectly fine to just do this to be able to remove that minion. So if they do get a location and say like an 8-8, then I can remove the 8-8 for only 4 mana, and that buys me like extra time in the game. Interesting top deck, but I think we still just want to equip the weapon. And start pushing that damage face. So we have 7 damage right here, so our opponent's already going to be down to 16. We see a location. They're not going to be going off this turn. It feels like they've actually got a bad draw here, which is good for us. Definitely good for us. Right now it draws 1. I mean, I can always shuffle back in the deck with a Dispose.
I will find a
So that'll be fine. Security and Chaos Strike. I guess it's just Chaos Strike. I'm going to draw 2. And I'll have to Dispose, I guess, so that I don't overdraw, because I really don't want to overdraw like a Sinful Brand. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and take the damage. I don't think this is going to be a Sethino game either. And I'm going to get rid of the... I-Beam could be useful. I'm going to get rid of Security. And then we're going to push the 9. So you can see here they're at 14, and even just Warband and Sinful Brand is 12, so our opponent is just almost dead. And it looks like they're not going to be making a big minion here either. So I just want to set up lethal. I want to get my opponent to 12 or less, and then really it's going to be on them to be able to generate healing is what it's going to come down to.
I know all.
They are going to be able to get a minion here, though. Question is, how big is it? And can they kill me next turn? Okay, it is an 8/8. So now the question is, do I need to just play the... do I need to play the Warband just to remove that? I mean, even if I just remove this... 12, 13, they would need 12 from hand. That's an issue, though, because I could potentially give them a lot of damage if I'm not careful. So how do I remove this? I can Warband that and put the Sinful Brand here. That's going to deal 8. Our opponent's at 6. Then we would have 3, 4. That would be a 50-50. And actually, I can't even play the Sinful Brand this turn. I feel like I have to make a defensive play to stay alive, though. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't want to give my opponent a lot of additional resources. So, unfortunate, but I think this is the play that's going to allow us to potentially stay in the game and be able to find a win. We'll set our opponent to 13, and then we'll see what they can do. Likely going to be a weak turn because they're going to be waiting for the graveyard, I think. With the Unleash Spell, I'll at least be able to get some kind of healing. Even if I can't totally win the game here. It's a lot of damage, though. We heal for 6. Let's see, does that do it? Let's see, 6. Yeah, it should be close enough. Again, we're just kind of working our way towards lethal. So I can put the Sinful Brand on this guy. And then I'm going to Unleash Fel. We'll play the security. Like that. So we've got our opponent at 2. They have to generate random healing, otherwise they just die. There's no way they're going to be able to kill us from 25 here, so I think we played this turn well enough that we're going to be able to win the game. And I still like the play that we made with the Warband, removing the Future Side. That way we don't run the risk of our opponent generating a lot of extra, like deal 3 damage concoctions. Random healing. Please, Hearthstone, you owe me. I mean, they're just dead to Mark of Scorn, they're dead to Predation. Even if they get a little bit of healing, we can probably still kill them. So I think we played this pretty well. It just looks awkward and it feels awkward because I feel like I should have been able to kill my opponent. So if you see that I missed lethal, feel free to call that out to me. But I think we did okay here. They're still looking for random healing. It looks like we're going to get by with a win here, so that'll be good. So, I don't know, it did feel a little bit awkward. It always feels bad when you set your opponent to like 2 and don't kill him, but I really like the way we played that game. We stayed safe. We know that our deck has plenty of damage, and we found a way to be able to get there, so I like it. The deck just feels strong. The deck feels strong, and I'm not sure that I feel confident in how I'm playing the deck yet, because I'm only about, what, 10 games deep or even less? And I feel like some of those games I could have won if I had played better. But it definitely feels like a good deck.
Arana versus Tyrande.
Death, lend me your power. I alone will shield my people.
Versus Priest. I want to keep Mark of Scorn. I don't think you ever keep two. I really want the weapon, the Glaive Tar. No idea if this is going to be Shadow Priest or Control Priest, though. I'm not even sure which one I would prefer to face. I think I would prefer to face... Okay, well, it is Shadow. I don't like playing against Control. Even when I win, I feel like I've lost playing against Control. Lost precious moments of my life that can never come back. Didn't really want to see an egg, though. If I'm being honest. So just the fact that they have this egg on the board makes me not want to play Mark of Scorn. Because I don't want to give them additional power. But unless they can actually buff the attack on it, it's kind of a slow turn 1, so I think that's fine as well. We have an Unleash Fill. There's 3 Bound Souls in the deck. So I think we've got some good potential to be able to remove their board and get the big heal. So I definitely want a Chaos Strike here. The question is going to be, do I hit into the 3-2 or do I go face? An additional Mark of Scorn. Is it crazy to swing into this?
Maybe.
I think I actually want to remove this. If I lose the game, this could be why right here, but I don't want that thing punching me in the turn for so many turns, because it's still several turns. No guarantee that I draw the Bound Soul, but it's going to be a while before I can get the heal. Okay. And this I think I'm more okay with. I kind of don't want to remove these because on turn 4 they just have the power play of High Cultist Basilisk and it just absolutely ruins us. So I feel like I can take this amount of damage. And I can figure out next turn, you know, exactly how I want to go about removing this board. I'm kind of sad to see that, because now this feels like a lot of damage and I'm still 2 turns away. Eye-Beam's a nice pickup, though. So what do we do here? Eye-Beam this guy. See where it goes, and then I've got Mark of Scorn.
I know there's a way.
Could hit with these and double Mark of Scorn. I guess Eye-Beam is definitely part of the equation here. It's actually Eye-Beam on this guy. I go Eye-Beam, Unleash Fell, and then Mark of Scorn.
Maybe.
I think I remove a bunch of stuff on the board. I end up using an Unleash Fell and not healing off of it, but it feels like I could potentially just be a little bit slow if I'm not careful. So now our opponent doesn't really have a whole lot of power on the board. Hey Alex, nice to see you.
Shadows puppet.
I think I'm okay with this. I can Eye-Beam this guy if necessary. I can actually just get the Sitheno down, and our opponent can't remove the Sitheno, right? Unless they have exactly the Shadow Word Undeath. But if they can't remove the Sitheno, it's likely that we just win. Ooh, actually I can't, now that I look at it. Ooh, this was a bad play. I go Sitheno. Oh no, wait, yeah I can.
A watery grave awaits.
Never mind all that stuff that I just said. And I guess I'm going to take the Arcanist. So now our opponent, like, has to remove this, so they have to have exactly the Shadow Word Undeath. And if they don't, I can just play, like, you know, Arcanist, Mark of Scorn. I can heal with the Eye Beam if I need to. Okay.
Gifts of the arcane surge within me.
I don't think it's worth it to, like, remove a minion and take that damage.
Dead in the water.
So now if our opponent has the Shadow Word Undeath, they can go Undeath and ping. We take 2. So we're dead to, like, the 5/4 and ping. And we're not killing them, right? Let's see, 7, 8. Kind of feel like I need to play this. I guess I'm still just dead to the 5/4 and ping. So I hold on to the Unleash Fel. I mean, it just doesn't matter. So they have to have the 4 mana 5/4, and they have to have an undead bottom 3, which is, like, really likely with this deck.
Shadows puppets.
Ooh, but that ain't it.
It is finished.
Oh! Oh! Shadow Priest down. That's another game. It's because of my inexperience with the deck, but that's another game that I'm not totally sure I took the correct line. And so I don't know if I should feel good about that game or not, because I try not to get too caught up in, like, whether I win or lose an individual game. But more so, did I play the best that I could play? Did I take the right lines of play? Because at the end of the day, you know, one game is one game. If you win because you bungled your way there because your opponent misplayed, it's only one game. But if you're playing optimally every single game over the course of like 1,000 games, then that's going to be a whole lot more wins than just one. I'm going to dive into the collection manager here. I'm still not sure about Paladin over the Abusive Sergeant, but again, I think Paladin is the choice. I do know some people have started to experiment with the Abusive Sergeant just to go for that bigger Lady Sitheno, but number one, it feels like we're not really killing our opponents most of the time with the Lady Sitheno, so the extra attack isn't going to help much. And then number two, that becomes a combo, and you have to have 2 bound souls, which means you're going to have to be in a position where you haven't had to use a bound soul to dig for your Silver Moon Arcanist. So I think I like the deck actually as is. Then everything else seems fine, so to me it feels like the deck is actually really tight already. Yeah, I feel like the deck is in a good spot. It's really just about learning how to play it. Try Thalnos. If you play Thalnos, because of the Soul Eater scythe, you would have to remove another one of the minions. Otherwise, like the Feldore Warband isn't going to be active. And then Thalnos is just spell damage, which the spell damage, we already have the Silver Moon Arcanist. So I don't think Thalnos would be an improvement on the deck. Its draw and could potentially be more damage. And the deck already has a lot of draw as well with, you know, you've already got like Mark of Scorn, Chaos Strike, Spectral Sight. You can generate additional Spectral Sights with the Illidari Studies. And then with the Glaive Tar, you're also able to draw a lot of cards. So it feels like the deck is pretty good as far as card draw goes. And then since we can only have 3 minions, the Silver Moon Arcanist just seems like it's better than Thalnos because it gives more spell damage, specifically on the Unleash Fel, because you just need that big heal sometimes. Finally, worthy opponent.
Versus the Lich King.
Just my luck, I'm going up against the lucky one.
The Scourge are no match for
I'm going to keep the Chaos Strike. Again, I'm not totally sure this is a keep, but I guess it seems fine. Potentially, especially against like a Frost Death Knight. If their turn 1 is to play the Arms Dealer, then I can turn 2 Chaos Strike to remove it. It looks like this is actually going to be Blood, so I wanted another chance at this matchup because I don't think it's necessarily a bad matchup. Especially considering that we have the weapon in hand. The problem is, how much healing are they going to do? How many Vampiric Bloods are they going to draw? Do they create additional Vampiric Bloods? And this feels like a matchup where you would want, like, Sethino and Abusive Sergeant. Just want to draw cards.
We'll find a way.
This is definitely a matchup where we need resources to be able to win.
Our gift of the arcane enlightens us.
Not really concerned about the Astalor, so I'm probably just going to punch face here.
Runic Strike!
Turn 4, equip this, and then I'd like to be able to start playing some Outcast stuff. I want to be able to draw, again, just more resources. I need to hit some Sinful Brands to go along with, like, the Warband and the security that we have going here. And again, I'm not really concerned about the board. We have Unleash Fells, and we have a Bound Soul, so we should be able to remove everything. And a Predation is going to be a nice pickup as well, so I'm just going to equip the weapon and swing face. All about the face. I have no idea what is in ETC these days. I guess it could even potentially be like weapon destruction. That's a nice pickup, the Sinful Brand. So I guess, man, it only draws 1 card right now, and the only Outcast card that I have in my hand is actually the Security. So I just go ahead and play the Security and remove the...
Maybe.
I guess I'll remove the 2/2. On turn 6, I can Bound Soul and double Unleash Fel, which will remove everything. But I may actually want to save that combo in case they have a Gnome Muncher, because the 6 damage will remove a Gnome Muncher as well, and invalidate all the healing that they did. So I'm just going to play the Security. And then the question is, do I want a Hero Power? I guess I want a Hero Power for the 1 damage. I'm going to draw 2 more cards, though. But I think I want the damage. Every point of damage could potentially matter here. And we pick up another weapon, which is going to be good for next turn. I'm going to go ahead and play the Studies. And we'll just take an additional card. Take the trades, hit the Dispose Evidence, and then we'll pass it back. So, it feels like things are looking pretty good here. Sometimes you can just get tempoed out by the Blood Death Knight. So Steam Cleaner, they removed 2 Bound Souls. I don't think it super matters, though, to be honest. We got 1 Bound Soul, and I think that's going to be enough. So I'm just gonna equip, let's see, that's 9, that's 12. So I'm actually dead to... No, but the 1/1's still on the board. I need to make sure that I don't die to a gnome muncher, is the issue. But again, I don't necessarily want to throw away the Unleash Fells. What can they do for 1 mana to remove this? If they, like, got a Heart Strike off of the Vizier?
I know there's a way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I feel like I have to address this board.
Enough time.
So I'm just going to go ahead and make the Silver Moon Arcanist clear play here.
Surge within me.
So now they have to address our board. If they play Gnome Muncher, it actually hits the 1/1, but the 2/2 is still on the board, so they would have to have like the Created Heart Strike. And that's going to make it easier to be able to clear the Gnome Muncher with the stuff we have in hand. Oh, wow. There's potential lethal here, depending on what they discover and what they can do. They need to remove the 2/2. They have to remove the 2/2, or they're just... Alright, well that's good enough. Man, that's really unfortunate too. Again, we just get blocked by the Discover, and I don't have a Lady Setheno now either. I don't have any more AoE because I played both Unleash Fells, and I have to get 15 damage into my opponent's face. And these taunts are in the way. Feast of Souls. So I guess I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to draw a bunch of cards with the Feast of Souls here. So I'm going to hit there. I'm going to I-beam on this side. Let's see, that's going to draw 2. Draw 3. I guess I can just go ahead and draw 4 here. Except I don't have the mana to be able to play that. Wow. Man! I've successfully made myself look like a fool. For some reason, I thought I had another mana and be able to play the Feast of Souls here, so I really just threw away resources. And now I absolutely deserve to lose this game because that was moronic. I really needed to draw more cards, I think, but at least I can get to my opponent's face now, so I can equip the weapon, swing face, potentially I draw like Security or even the second thing. Warband. There's the Security. So I'm just going to draw cards this time. Alright, there's the second Warband. We pick up an I-beam. And I'm going to swing face here. So we really, really don't want to see a Gnome Muncher. Gnome Muncher is so bad, but if they play a minion, we've got 12 damage. Let's see, they're at 17. And that's going to be... yeah, that's going to be lethal. So I really, really misplayed that one turn. Like, I should almost just concede because of how hard I misplayed that turn, but it ends up working out, and we just have like an insane amount of extra damage here. But I did get fortunate. I mean, our opponent is playing a 40-card deck, but they didn't hit Gnome Muncher, they didn't hit Death Strike, They only hit one vampiric blood. They didn't create any extra healing, so I got really lucky. I played poorly, and my opponent drew poorly. So, don't necessarily feel good about that. But we go next. What did I learn from that last game? I learned that I need to make sure that I have enough mana to do what I want to do with my cards. And it's really sad that I can make a mistake like that. That's why I really think anybody can be like top whatever legend you would consider to be high legend or top legend or whatever you call it, because there's so many misplays. Not just me doing it, but I see opponents like make misplays and silly mistakes as well. There's just so many misplays, even at, you know, where I am on legend now. I see it too when I watch people playing who are you know, higher ranked than I am. People that are playing top 20. You can still see the misplays. I'm going to keep the security because it's in the outcast position, and I might have to do something on the board against the hunter. Sad to see both weapons. But I guess 2 is better than 0 when it comes to the weapon.
What a delicious party!
Patty guessed. I guess I'm just kind of hoping that my opponent doesn't have the dog biscuit to be able to buff this. If they do, then I'm going to be having a bad time. Hey Daniel, is this deck viable? This deck feels really, really, really strong. So I'm going to say yes. If they have wild spirits. So I think I need to go ahead and play the security here. I was considering Mark of Scorn, but it only removes the 1/1 and then it makes it a 2/1, so I'm going to play the security. Likely on turn 3 I'm going to have to coin a Glaive Tar anyway, and if they play Wild Spirits, I'm going to have to swing into the 2/4. So this play is going to remove the most possible damage from the board, and then I'm going to pass it back over. Next turn we coin the Glaive Tar. Hopefully they don't have Wild Spirits, because I really don't want to have to deal with like that big of a board. Okay. They still have 2 more Monkey in a Barrels though. Could be a bad matchup for this particular deck. Maybe Hunter's a bad matchup, but you don't see Hunter anyway. Hey John, good to see you. How do you feel about Relic DH? It's a pretty strong deck. I personally... It's a strong deck and it's good, but it's one of those decks that's just really dependent on drawing the right cards. Like if you don't draw Relic Vault, you probably don't win. And in addition to that, you also have to draw the Relic of Dimensions, and sometimes it really depends on what cards get discounted by the Relic of Dimensions. So it is a good deck. It's just personally something that I stay away from because it's very much relates to the draw order in my experience. This is kind of sad. This play is going to be more than just a little bit sad. I mean, the 3 Rushers isn't even good. It lets me draw an additional card, but I can just, like, Mark of Scorn and then swing and draw 2. And just hold on to the security. Here's an Eye Beam. And a Spectral Sight that's going to get blocked by our next draw. Could potentially just be equipping the weapon here. Not really been able to get to my opponent's face just yet.
Pick me! Pick me!
Which is bad. And I'm going to need a Bound Soul to be able to get the healing here. Oh, wow. That's a... Man, they traded one of the dog biscuits as well. I pretty much just lost the game, I think. Like, I can't even afford to equip the weapon, I'm pretty sure. I need the draw because I really need a bound soul for next turn to be able to heal. But even then, I mean, this guy just does a ton. Could even be dead next turn. Yeah, this game is not going very smoothly. Our opponent's at 29. We're taking a lot of damage. We don't have... All 3 bound souls are at the bottom of our deck. And we can't even clear the board anyway. I guess that's just it. Oh, 1, 4 mana. Yeah, we don't have the mana. Man, felt like we really did nothing that game. We drew so many cards, drew half the deck, and our hand just didn't do anything against what our opponent was trying to do here. Fortunately, you don't see too many hunters on the ladder. At least I don't. I don't think that deck is all that popular. When I played that deck, I played a little bit of a different version, but I always felt like I ran out of cards with it.
Arana versus the Lich.
It didn't seem like our opponent was really having that issue. At least not that particular game.
Serve me in death.
Another Death Knight.
The Scourge are no match for me.
Gonna keep the Chaos Strike. So, I mean, I can go this on 2, this on 3. Draw tons of cards, and their Outcast for the Glaive Tar. And it looks like we got Blood Death Knight again as well. Hoping our opponent draws poorly. No healing. No Death Strikes. No Gnome Munchers. No, what's that other card? Vampiric Blood. No created Vampiric Bloods. No created... What's that other card? Guardians of the Tomb. Man, that is just, like, really, really unfortunate. I guess I Mark of Scorn, and then next turn I can go Chaos Strike Hero Power, and then that leads into the turn 4 that I wanted anyway with the Glaive Tar, and I just end up saving the coin. Could still coin out the Glaive Tar next turn, I guess, but... I think I likely just save the coin. Coin has some value with Lady Sethino as well if I hold on to it until later on. I-Beam changes the play though. I just I-Beam this, Chaos Strike, and push that damage face. So I like it. And I feel like with this deck it's also important to play those I-Beams in the Outcast position. Just because you don't want to spend 3 mana on it. Even if it allows you to draw an additional card, it's just too expensive. So when they get to the middle of your hand, they kind of get stuck. And, you know, if it's like the 7th card over here, it's going to, you know, you're probably never going to work it over to be able to outcast it on the left either. Expose evidence. I'm going to equip the weapon, and we're just going face. And then next turn, we're going to work on drawing cards. I might actually have to use the coin or use a Dispose Evidence to empty out my hand a little bit so that I can draw additional cards. And I'm going to have to remove the 3/6 as well. Which is definitely going to mean a Dispose Evidence, I guess. I'm going to start by drawing. I'm going to want to make sure that I don't overdraw here, though. Let's see, that's 2 cards. I just play the security, we draw 3. I don't think I'm going to need the security, so just play it while I can in the Outcast. That'll leave those minions on the board. That has us drawing 3. So I'm going to dispose evidence. And we're going to put back... Spectral Sight is outcast. I might actually want to equip this weapon next turn to just continue to be able to draw cards. But the only outcast card that I have in my hand is the Spectral Sight. And I don't want to toss away the Warband either. So I'm going to toss the weapon. Because I've got the other weapon in hand, I guess is my reasoning there. And then I'll just go ahead and hero power. Swing into this. And then, unfortunately, I feel like I kind of have to go ahead and make that trade. I don't really want to, but I don't have a Bound Soul yet for the Unleash Fel. And again, sometimes you can just get tempoed out by these, even these Blood Death Knights. Now we see the Gnome Muncher come down. And we're just so low on health. Good news here is they can't actually heal for any more. So we'll be fine to just go ahead and clear the Gnome Muncher. So I may have to actually use one of the Warbands on this guy. Definitely want to save the Sinful Brand here because the damage isn't going through anyway. So I'm going to Warband here. And then I think I'm just going to Hero Power. And that'll let me get the Finale. I don't really like any of these, but I guess Multi-Strike. Because it's cheap and it adds attack. And then I guess I just, again, just remove damage from the board here. Could even draw some additional cards. Actually, I don't have it in hand. I thought I had the Feast of Souls in hand. It must have been last game. And again, still no Bound Soul. Only 14 cards left in the deck. And no Bound Soul. Could have been an option there to maybe leave up those minions and force my opponent to remove them, because we do have a Sinful Brand if they were to play a bigger minion in conjunction with the Feldori Warbands, number 2. But without a Bound Soul guaranteed to be able to get a big heal off of the Unleash Fel here, it's just the amount of damage we're taking is making me a little bit nervous. Security. I probably have to actually just go ahead and Unleash Fel here to take this healing. Otherwise, I'm dead to like second Gnome Muncher and Hero Power. I really don't like it, but I have to. And just go ahead and use this, the first Sinful Brand. But yeah, I'm not particularly enjoying this play. Also, I can't even play the... I can't even play the security. Alright, well, it's possible that I'm just dead here. This... I don't know, this wasn't a good turn either. No Bound Souls in the first 17 cards of my deck. There's 3 of them in there, I promise. I just can't actually find one. This was a turn where I needed a big heal, too. I'm not going to say that's the total reason why I'm about to lose this game, but it certainly went a long way to... certainly went a long way towards that being the outcome here. And I think I'm probably just dead, and I'm not going to be able to kill him either. Unfortunate. I guess, I don't know. I can draw a little bit. I can discover from the Illidari studies. Maybe I can find a way to stay alive and set up lethal for the following turn. But second Gnome Muncher just ends me. Plus they have so much damage on the board. That's 10. They're potentially pushing 5.
I have but little time.
Ooh, they're pushing even more than 5. What is this? Death Strike his own minion. Okay. I-Beam is a good start. An I-Beam a 3/4. Play the security. And remove it. We're still just almost dead. We're going to be dead to the weapon. Need another I-Beam. But I'll take another security. So I need to remove as much damage as possible, and I guess I need to draw as many cards as possible as well, too. I'll actually be able to draw this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we hit our first bound soul. So I need to survive this turn. If I can survive this turn, I've only got 1 bound soul though. 2 out of 3 bound souls in the bottom 5. But if I survive this turn, hopefully they put more minions on the board and I can get a heal off of the Unleash Fel. And then maybe I can like equip the weapon. If I'm not just dead. Okay. But we're still going to be able to... Let's see, Predations. Do I kill him with the Setheno here? Is the other question. I don't have Dispose Evidence. Setheno is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I kind of have to go for Setheno. Force my opponent to remove it. Yeah, I guess Spectral Sight.
I will find a way. Not enough time. I'm low on cards.
Woo! Oh, baby. When all hope is lost. Rope burning, opponent not yet dead. Out of nowhere, Uncorrupt comes through in the clutch. Somebody saw that. Somebody had to see that.
Arana versus Liadrin.
My blade
Oh, we got a
burns
Paladin.
like holy fire.
I alone will shield my people.
I'm always so tempted to keep the Warband against decks that I think are going to be playing early minions, but I think it's too slow and there's other things that we want. Security Outcast is a really good example of something that we want. We got the wrong weapon though, but I'll take it. As long as all 3 of our bound souls aren't like bottom 8 this game, I think we'll potentially be okay here. I guess I just go ahead and security. Save the Mark of Scorn to actually be able to hit a minion on the board. Yeah, I just play security and remove this guy, I think. And next turn I've got like Mark of Scorn and potentially Taste of Chaos. This will prevent a buff from coming down. They probably want to play Disco Mall anyway. I think they played Disco Mall in this deck. The good news is, considering that was a 1-drop, we know it's not going to be like the Kangor Dancing Paladin. Okay. Okay with that. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going to end up clearing the board here, is what it's going to come down to. Mark of Scorn, and then I can just go ahead and Taste of Chaos. I think I want the Unleash Fel. This feels like a game where I might need like Silver Moon Arcanist and Unleash Fel ×2, because I know they're going to have the 5/5 Light Rays coming down at some point. Turn 4, likely just Soul Eater Scythe, and then that's going to give me Outcast for the next 3 cards. I really wish this would have been a Glaivetar, though. With these Outcast cards in hand, would be pretty good. This is an unfortunate setup, though. Don't really like it. Could go like Unleash Fel Security just to remove this. I'm going to start with the Illidari Studies. Take the Security. Then I can play that. And I can actually save a minion on the board by using Hero Power and Unleash Fel here. So I'm okay with this. Opponent's at 24. We're working them down slow. Again, we know the 5/5s are going to be coming out potentially at some point. But I don't think this deck is actually playing the... it no longer plays the Order in the Court. So maybe we're just fine here. Could even Unleash Fel again. And Security. How worried am I about the 4/2? I guess I'm not, right? Probably rather be, like, drawing cards, so I just want to equip the weapon. Alright, the 5 definitely goes face. I think I want to break the Divine Shield, though. I'm going to break the Divine Shield and then push an additional point face. I think we're okay here. Again, I am probably going to need a Bound Soul, but I've got an Unleash Fel.
The menagerie is for the pure only.
Pretty okay with this. I can remove that with the I-Beam and the Weapon Swing, so I think it's okay. We hit the Warband as well. Could even just Warband here, totally clear their board, and that allows me to swing face. I'm going to start by drawing cards. And I still can't hit a Bound Soul to save my life. But I think I'm happy with this. I mean, this is really just like buying time and extending the game. Our opponent's down to 14. We have card draw in hand. We have rush minions. Sinful Brand is going to be good here at some point. So I'm not really worried about dying.
Our story, tragic. Our redemption, divine.
Both Light Rays, man. I can't draw one Bound Soul, but my opponent can hit both Light Rays. Not one single Bound Soul. So, if I go, let's see, 4, 5, 6.
Maybe.
So go there. Unleash Fel. And then I guess I have to I-beam on this guy. Or I can I-beam here. This was a bad order. I could have done this in a way where I actually just didn't take damage, I guess. No bound souls, come on, game. Second game in a row, too. Alright, so again, I'm not worried about dying, I just need to kill my opponent, so I want to draw cards. I guess I just Sinful Brand here, and then with the security... Draw 2 first. There's a Predation. Finally a Bound Soul, thanks for nothing. Go ahead and Chaos Strike. Well, there's an Unleash Fel. And I'm just going to security here. Alright, our opponent's at 5. I've got Predation, Unleash Fel, and Hero Power to kill him if there's no taunt, and I think this deck only runs 3 taunts, and I think... Well, I know they've already played 3, but I think that's the only 3 they run in the deck. I guess they could have second Boogie down. But a lot of their 1-drops are also gone.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Okay. We get there. Woo!
Your skill commencing.
The deck is really good, man. And it's fun. Where is this deck from? Daniel, I don't know. It's something that people have been playing in like top 25. Basically, here's what you gotta do. I want you to imagine all the tryhards that are trying to qualify for Masters Tours and win a World Championship. Those are the people that are playing this deck. And they just started playing it within the last day or two. As far as like the individual person that came up with this specific list, I have no idea. But I'll tell you one thing. So there's a few names in the competitive player community that you always want to know what they're doing because that's where the good decks come from. And one of them is a guy named Casey. C-A-S-I-E. Been a competitive player for a long time in Hearthstone. And he actually competed in the Masters Tour over the weekend. And he tweeted on Twitter earlier today that he thinks that this deck has the potential to take over the meta even after the patch that's going to be tomorrow with the buffs and the nerfs. Because this particular deck, nothing is being affected. And really in all Demon Hunters, whatever change they make to Rowdy Fan is going to be the only thing that affects it. But this particular list, nothing's going to change. And like with Sinful Brands, this card used to be 1 mana, it was nerfed to 2. But just this card... You punish your opponent for putting minions on the board, which is like a key part of Hearthstone, or basically, I guess every deck that's out there right now is playing minions in some form. So they play a minion, and now you turn that minion into damage on their face with the rushers from the Warband, and then also now with security in the deck as well. So just a solid deck, man, from the minds of Hearthstone geniuses. But yeah, it's definitely strong. And I think... I don't know what the dust cost of this deck would be, but again, Sinful Brands are epics. I want to say I-beams are like core set or something, maybe. Of course, you got the Lady Setheno here. And you don't even need this card. The Falarian, like, definitely don't craft this. If you don't have this, then I would say just play an Abusive Sergeant. Or if you can think of another minion that does something that you don't have access to within the deck. But you could play an Abusive Sergeant. But so many of the games that I'm winning, it's not because I played Lady Sitheno. So the extra attack on the Lady Sitheno wouldn't really matter. And the reason why is because we can't discount our spells with this deck unless we discover the, what is it, Wayward Sage? Whatever that 2-mana Naga is that discounts 1 mana on the left and on the right. Yeah, Wayward Sage. So if you randomly get one of these from either Illidari Studies or Phaleran, then you can get 1 mana discounts on the outcast portions of your hand, the left and the right. But outside of that, you have 2 Dispose Evidence, and then if you have the Predations in hand when you play the Sitheno. But other than that, you're having to pay mana. So you pay 1 mana for the Bound Soul, 3 for the Sitheno. That's already 4 mana if you have to Bound Soul same turn. And then you don't have a lot of mana to be able to play other stuff, and you're having to pay full price for it. So Sitheno is, I guess it's good enough to be in the deck, but it doesn't really feel like a main win condition. So even if you didn't have Sitheno, I feel like you could probably play the deck without Sitheno. Probably doesn't win as much, but it seems like it could be close. But that's just, you know, that's based on my experience against the decks that I'm playing against. And I've only played this deck for, I don't know, I've been playing it for 2 hours since I started the stream. So 14, 15 games, I don't even know. But it's definitely a good deck. And if this deck gets good, the community is going to absolutely complain about it, because they always complain. Well, the community always complains, number one. But number two, I kind of understand with Sinful Brand, because like it's kind of like a punch your opponent in the face kind of deck. And so the way that you would traditionally want to prevent that is to play taunt minions. But you play a taunt minion and it doesn't matter, because Sinful Brand is now causing the little 1/1s with Rush to deal 2 damage to your face every time they hit your taunt minion. So this card is problematic, and probably becomes more so over time. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets nerfed again before it rotates out of standard. It's just really good. Alright, I'm going to sneak away just for a quick break. Just a brief minute while I run to the restroom. Thank you so much for watching. I will be right back. We made it. And we're queuing again. Another worthy opponent.
Arana versus Malfurion.
Miriam, playing Druid. This is only the second Druid that I've played against with this deck, and the first one was playing that Drum the Circle deck, that kind of newer deck. I think I like keeping the Chaos Strike. Again, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the mulligan is for this deck. I've been keeping Chaos Strike, I've been keeping Glaive Tar, I've been keeping Mark of Scorn. And I think if it's far left, you can keep Spectral Sight, and you can probably keep Security as well. But only if they're fully in the outcast position. Otherwise, they could potentially just get blocked. We go into the dome. I opponent -1 health. We've almost won already. What deck did you use to get to Legend? Honestly, Daniel, I can't remember. I hit Legend on like the first or second day of the month, and it was before the expansion came out. Oof, man. I'm tempted to leave this. It's healing later on. I don't mind taking one in the face.
I know that.
And as soon as it dies, their hero power adds an additional armor. So I think I'm just going to not worry about it and go face. Turn 4 will equip the weapon unless we draw the Glaive Tar. I think it's just good to equip a weapon on 4 and smack your opponent with it. Our opponent hero powers. Unfortunate that they had this, but it's kind of whatever. They're going to want to ramp, though. Maybe I just go ahead and play the Taste of Chaos. To get the finale this turn. They could hero power on turn 3 and gain an additional armor from that, but like they want to play Wild Bloom Seedsman on 4, they probably want to Nourish on 5, like they've got other stuff they want to do that doesn't involve hero power. But we'll start with this. Dispose Evidence. I guess I'm just going to leave it. I don't really care about a 1-attack minion. Plus, it's just extra healing if I have to Unleash Fel with the Arcanist at some point. There's the Seedsman. They didn't hero power anyway, but this is fine. I'm just going to equip the weapon. There's an Unleash Fel. Now, I seem to be really bad at drawing Bound Souls, though, with this particular deck. Hopefully I'm able to ignore the board, and just keep pushing damage face. So our opponent didn't have the... what's it? Flowering Sunchild? Which is good for us. They didn't have the best turn 5 play, so I'm really happy about that. There's a security. I really want a Sinful Brand. I kind of feel like I need to play the Warbands just because I need to be able to draw cards from the Spectral Sight here, though. Well, I've got the Sinful Brand, but they don't have a minion big enough yet. I need to draw cards. Maybe I just draw one off of this because I think I do want to save that. Oof, man. We draw one. Second Sinful Brand. So the other interesting thing is you can Sinful Brand ahead of time on a minion, but this deck runs ETC, and I think they have a Starfish in their ETC.
Enough time.
I guess I don't really need the Discover. I'm just going to remove their 3/2 here so I'm not taking the damage and swing face. I don't have to have the Discover. Although maybe the Discover would have been good, but the mana just didn't necessarily work out this turn. I could have saved it. That's 12 damage. There's the ETC now, so... on turn 8, it's actually 20 damage, if I can make it to turn 8. Need card draw and I don't have it. If I do it now, it's only 12. But I can play like these guys, remove this. Lets me push a little bit of damage this turn. And then I think I just go ahead and play the second security. And hit here. I may have actually hurt my own damage potential, though, because if they take the 4/4 and trade for a 1/1, then that's less damage off of a Sinful Brand on the 4/4. So maybe that was actually a questionable play. But if they're trading into 1/1s, I feel like that's a net positive.
Insanity is no excuse for bad manners.
So that's really bad for us. They have this in their ETC, I guess. So they've been really slow, but we lose potentially to a hogwash card that should have never been printed. I don't get to play my deck because my opponent has this. Now they're trying to decide what to give us. I'm assuming they take either Sinful Brand or the Warband. I played both securities. I've already played one Sinful Brand. This is really bad. We need card draw now. Oh, wow. Potential lethal? Innervate hero power? Okay. So we don't kill him, but the good news is we still have Warband Sinful Brand here. They're at 17. Let's see. I'm just gonna I-beam here. This guy can go face. And I guess I just go ahead and Warband Sinful Brand. Take the damage while I have the mana to be able to do it. If I had saved the Sinful Brand, I would have had lethal here, though. So our opponent's at 4. They can at least get to 7. They could have like a Nubricon and Underkings, which would heal them for an awful, awful lot, though. Without card draw, we're just not getting there. I think I misplayed. I should have held the first Sinful Brand. Oh, and they play the Chitinous Plating too, so this is a loss. Wow, I'm not hitting any card draw. And again, I'm just really bad at drawing the Bound Souls, but this game was my fault. I don't know, maybe we still don't get there with the double Sinful Brand. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this. I guess I'll stay in, but it's not looking good. I would have had 20 damage this turn, though, with double Sinful Brand and the Beldori Warband. But, I mean, they may have taken a Sinful Brand with the Theo. It's impossible to know. There's just been too many different turns and decisions this game, but I do think I misplayed. Would definitely like to have that one back. And our opponents had like a bad draw, too. They did hit the minions to buff their hero power, 1 each. But they haven't drawn like their big cards, other than this one Underking. You know, they didn't have the 5 mana card. I think it's over. Yeah, it's over. Alright. Well, that was a misplayed game. Unfortunate, but we learned. I should have held the Sinful Brand, I guess. Maybe that was my only realistic chance of being able to win this particular game anyway. I just didn't have the card draw. Didn't draw either Glaivetar until that last turn I drew the first one. The Bound Souls, I didn't draw them, but it wasn't that big a deal, but I'm really bad at drawing Bound Souls, apparently. I feel like I could have 10 Bound Souls and they would still be on the bottom of my deck and I'd never see them somehow. If I would have had more card draw, how does that game go? Well, if I had more card draw, I could have saved the Sinful Brands. And it's less likely that the Theatar hits one. So maybe it's still enough.
The Scourge are no match for me.
I'm going to keep the Spectral Sight because it's far left. I like this hand. This is actually a really good hand. I wonder if it's Blood or Frost. Or the super rare Unholy DK. Looks like it's going to be Frost. Start off with an egg. I wonder, can they buff the egg on turn 2? I'm going face. I was debating about swinging into this, and then turn 2 I could hero power swing and then like coin out the Mark of Scorn, but it looks like that egg is just going to sit there anyway, which is going to be just fine by me. And I just want to draw cards.
I will find a way.
We hit an Unleash Fail. It feels like our opponent has a slow start here, which is good. If I can actually draw a Bound Soul, I'm going to be able to get a big heal from the Silvermoon Arcanist. But as you can plainly see, I still can't draw Bound Souls. Oh! All you have to do is complain enough. You know the old saying. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. We're just going face here. I don't care. Our opponent has like no power on the board. Whatever they discovered is going to be full cost. So I feel like we're in good shape this game. Just going to work on drawing cards and dealing damage to my opponent's face. I think the last time we saw this, it was an Icy Touch to freeze our face. There, they buffed the egg. We are going to have to be just a little bit careful here, though, with the amount of damage that we're taking, because we're still 2 turns away from being able to get that big heal. So I need to figure out what to do. I guess to start off with, we're just going to draw a card. Second Unleash fell. So if I can get to turn 6, I'm fine. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could be 10 damage coming in. So it's going to add up fast. This is like a 50-50 to add damage to the board. It either removes 1 or adds 1. But maybe it's worth it to take the chance. What are the other options? I guess I just go ahead and Bound Soul. I don't have to. What if they do something like a Dirty Rat in their ETC? Alright. I guess if I have to, I can Bound Soul for Lady Satheno, and I can make a defensive play with the Predations. I feel like I have to. Which I may have to. The damage is just really adding up here. That is a lot of damage. We're down to 12 and it's only turn 5. They had a really slow start as well. If I remove the board... Even if I remove the board with Lady Satheno, I'm just dead to the, dead to the Marrow Manipulator.
Maybe.
Alright, I-Beam is a good start. So I'm going to I-Beam there. Then I'm just going to Mark of Scorn. It's going to hit the 4-1. And then I'm going to Hero Power and swing face. 5, 9. I think we're alive. And then next turn, I'll be able to Silvermoon Arcanist, double Unleash Fell. It's going to clear our opponent's board. It's going to heal us back to full. And it's going to put our opponent down to 11. I don't think they can kill us here. And I think we're going to be healing back to full next turn anyway, so we're feeling good. The I-beam was clutch. If I didn't discover an I-beam, I was probably going to have to try to do...
My frost will split.
Oh yeah, this is perfect. We clear the board. Everything's dead. Our opponent's going to be down to 11. It doesn't matter if they hit the Frostworm Furies. And this particular individual is getting ready to be really sad. So that's a little bit less healing, but it doesn't matter. Now this causes us to overdraw, which is unfortunate.
My hand is full.
And it was a bound soul. Man, that whole thing is unfortunate. I think it also means there's going to be some 3/3s on the board, but ultimately it shouldn't matter. Make sure we take the right one. Gonna do this. Going to unleash Fel. And I can actually hero power into this. Oh no, I can't. I don't have the mana. So I just have to do it anyway. But they're only getting one 3/3. Because there wasn't room in the hand, so that's fine. That's fine. So we're back to full. Our opponent has a 3/3. And I'm going to pass it back. So next turn we have 3, we have 6. We have 9, we have 10. Oh, they had a second Might of Menethil in their ETC. They just don't have enough time to be able to kill us here. And they're actually just dead to Lady Sethino.
A watery grave awaits.
And I mean, it just doesn't even really matter what we do at this point. Yeah. Nice. So it's definitely, if you're frustrated with the Frost DKs, this deck is definitely a deck that you want to look into. It feels favored. Just based on what I've been seeing. Alright guys, that's actually going to do it for the stream. Thank you so much for watching. It's always so fun for me when people come and hang out and interact with me in the chat, so thank you so much for that. If you're interested in this deck, again, definitely make sure that you check it out. I'll probably have some kind of a guide for this in the relative near future. I just want to play the deck a little bit more and make sure that I know what I'm doing, because when I make guides, they're based on my experience. They're based on like the decks that I'm playing against on the ladder. But I want to make sure that I have a good understanding of how that deck works before I start trying to communicate that to other people. So you'll be able to look for that soon. Not sure how soon. Again, I just want to make sure that I play it enough that I feel comfortable and that I'm not doing something stupid that I'm going to be encouraging other people to do. So, but again, that is going to do it for the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck out on the ladder. And I hope all your dreams come true with that buff patch that's going to be coming out on Thursday.